You travel to challenge you, I know that. My own from my What's on your friend? They say, I would say, but I'm not going to be a monster. Then the
and I'll be medical jam. Bye.
Females joined and they went into the door. So this is just a portion of the camp. So here they had a soldier here to keep an eye on them, commanded them to move faster. And while they moved, another one was down there, making a head count of the number of captives. So this is just a portion of the camp. Now they moved one at a time. Quick glance. It was very good. 1350.
hello, I'm coming.
It's more like 500.
So they walk underground from the main dungeon through to the door. So when you watch first they came out from this direction. When they will journey all the way, they will come out from here. Females will come and join from this point.
Oh, okay.
So I told you they blocked it off in 1834 to the entrance and to the exit to mark the end of slavery in here. So originally they came out from here. Females joined to this direction. And they went through to the door of no return. So first the door of no return was here, very small. At a point the seawater was coming overboard. So they blocked it off. And they created a new one to the other direction. So the other one is to the outside. We shall have a view to that one. And they had a cell for the females, punishment cell. So they don't bring their wives, they select some of the females to be raped. And those who resisted, they kept them. About 7 days they fed them once a day. Food just sustain the metal gate here, they will shut it. Their source of light and ventilation.
If they conceive, what is the next of action after conceiving? After becoming pregnant?
They take them out of the castle.
To where?
The Europeans have bent bricks houses in
What?
some areas. Bent brick houses. They have some of the bricks houses just around.
Just around.
They catered for them before they brought them back after they gave birth.
Okay.
After birth, they took their children from them. So the children, we call them the mulattoes or the biracial children. So they educated them specially. They were not treated as like slaves.
Okay.
They were going to school up in the church at a point in time. And most of them, they grew up, became clerks, administrators, interpreters in this very castle. Others taken to overseas colonies to help administer their colonies. So the kids lost total contact with their mothers because most of them, their mothers were children. So that was what happened to the females who conceived or who got pregnant. Let's see the female dance. This is a female dandy. They have 2 chambers. This is the first one, the other one to the opposite. And each of them held about 100 to 200 female calves, just as I said. So in total, about 300 to 400. They also did everything here. Went to toilet, slept in here, sometimes they fed them here. The sad thing is that even after menstruation, no bath for them. They kept them in their mess till the ships came in to move them away. So everything we are working on is also the waste, just like what we saw in the male dungeon. These were their source of light and ventilation. 1, 2, 3. Together with the bigger one here. This one had metal bars or partitions within that served as a spy hole for them if they wanted to keep an eye on them. Pick points on some of them to be rigged all through the bigger window to the side. And these flowers are also brought in to pay homage to the souls of the female ancestors. We shall have a look to the door of no return. I'll talk about it, then we just go through because of the other group right behind the door. So the door was not large like what we are going to walk through today. It was very short and narrow, very small. They designed it for one person at a time. So in chains and shackles, they bent down and they forced them through the door. So the door made very small in such a way that they would be able to control them very easily in there. And also they wouldn't miss the head count in there. So that's why they made the door very short and narrow. So right from there, the Africans lost their roots, identity, their culture, their religion, fundamental human right, no opportunity to say goodbye to their family members. When they made the journey, those who survived, they baptized them, they Christianized them, gave them Christian names. They bear the surnames of the slave masters for easy identification. And with respect to their languages as time went on, they forced them to learn the language of the slave masters so that they can communicate with the slave masters in there. So right from here, the Africans, they lost their roots and they never returned home. So that's why we call the door of no return. So it was very small. But during the colonial period, the British, they were here. Here was their administrative seat. So for their own purpose, they changed the smaller door into the large door we are going to walk through today. But originally, it was very small. When you go to the Omega dungeons, we have the original door of no return. Any question? If no question, let's walk through the door of no return. When they reach the smaller boats like what you are seeing, move them into the bigger boats. And from here, they lost their way. Some to America, some to Europe, some to the Caribbean countries, ships back to Africa again. Movement was just like a triangle. So therefore they call it a triangular trade with the Atlantic Ocean. Because the sea was coming overboard, so they start at the farm. So that's why they built the sea. It's just about 4 years ago. Just to build the sea and coming overboard, so they start at the mine. Today we have door of the tent. It changed in the year 1998. So first ever Emancipation Day was celebrated in Ghana. Those who came from the African American diaspora, they found it necessary to bring some of the descendants, their skeletons. So they brought Samuel Carson from New York and Miss Crystal from Jamaica. When they were coming, when they reached Abanze Fort Amsterdam, they placed the remains on smaller boats and they paddled them all the way to this point. And they believed me that when their ancestors were being taken away, the sea was a passage. So if they are coming back home, the sea should be their passage back home. So that's why they placed them on smaller boats and paddled them all the way to this point. Reaching here, moving them through the door of no return. We believe our ancestors have returned home, and moving them through, they broke the genes of the door of no return. So the narrative needed to change the door of return to finally welcome their ancestors back home. They had a funeral ceremony for them at the forecourt, and after they took their skeletons to Asinamanso to finally bury their remains in there. So because of skeletons of Samuel Carson from New York, Miss Crystal from Jamaica, they brought through this door. That's why today we have door of return. And this stair happens to be a golden stair. This was used by the Europeans alone. If no question, I conclude right from here, then we shall return. Any question? If no question, here we say we learn from the past to correct the present and the future, so that if today we also encounter any form of injustice, any form of modernized slavery, in the form of racism, colorism, imperialism, neocolonialism, and child trafficking, we can come together and fight against all this and make the world a better place for us all. So we all come together, we preach humanity to all, we preach justice for all, we make the world a better place for us all. So Michael Jackson once said, if we care enough about the entire human race, then let us all come together We heal the world, we make the world a better place for us all. Once again, good evening. My name is Kweku, your tour guide, and the tour has ended. Thank you. No question? Right. Okay. So there are 5 chambers here. Each of them hold about 1 machine or about 750 to 1,000. We did everything there. We enter the side. We enter the side. So they did everything here. Went to toilet, slept in there, sometimes they fed in there. So that's why you can see the trenches of the gutters on the floor. Expecting them to do everything there so that when it rains, the rain will come and flush some of the waste. It didn't work. By the time the waste mixed up with sand covered in the entire place. Archaeologists excavated in 1974, sorry. After the excavation, we found the bricks. The bricks are the original floor. The samples we collected for testing. After testing, it proved that everything was the urine, toilet, particle, sweat, vomit of the Africans that mixed up with sand and filled up the entire chamber. So he excavated, he left this to show to tourists as evidence that indeed this was how the chamber was before he excavated and left the portion there. For the other chambers, he didn't touch it. So when we step into the second chamber, we walk all along to the last chamber. Everything we are going to work on is the waste.
Only this place,
About 100 to 200 or 150 to 200. That's just an estimate. It can be less, it can be more than the estimate. Because when the ships are waiting that it's coming, they still buy the practice. By the time the ships return in about 6 weeks or 7 weeks time, the place will be very packed. So when they move them, they start refilling again. I sent you the lights to hear them. They peep. They listen to know what was going on. So if there is noise, then probably they might be awake or hungry or something ongoing. Just treating them like animals in cages. So their churches up here. Every day they pass by, they go to church. Our ancestors were here suffering and they think they're worshiping them. The church is now the Anglican Church. By then they called it Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, which gospel they propagated. You can see some of the bricks here. They are not part of these trenches. This is the trench that connects from the first chamber. These are separate. So if they are to excavate, we shall see bricks all over, which happens to be the original floors. But currently, we are working on the waste of the African. I'll go. The last chamber, normally we sorted them out in the weak ones on the strong one. Weak ones here, nurses that test check up on them, they recover. They join it and wait for the next shift. They don't go and they die bodies up into this. They connected the strong ones underground. So the underground tunnel, where you met me, where you came to view, they start from here. So they connected them all the way to the door of no return. Females joined, went through to the door of no return. This side blocked off in 1834 to mark the end of British slavery in here. So today we can't walk through, that's why we saw the portion to the other direction. And this was the spirituality of the Africans, believed in the existence of the Supreme Being and communicated to the Supreme Being through natural things. Indigents around Great Tree Rock. The entire area was a large rock. When the Europeans came in, they built the castle on the rock. They didn't allow the people of Cape Coast to pray around the gate. So that's why they carved samples of the stones into the town to establish a shrine there so that they can continue worshiping. But now the Europeans left. If the deity was here before they moved it into the town, they are no more here, they have to bring the deity back to its original position. So 1970, the traditional authorities in Cape Coast, they performed the necessary rituals and they brought back the deity here. So today here is an active shrine. And we have a chief priest who takes charge of the day-to-day responsibilities here. Liquors for pouring of libation, money as token of offering, stools for those who want to sit, flowers to pay homage to the spirits of the Africans. Any question? Quick look around, we continue out. After to fall for them before separation into the dungeons. We have restored everything here. The only original thing is the black seal. This was where they signed the bond of 1844. Oh wow. And the European 8 other country chiefs. Oh wow. Currently we hold meetings, conferences, and symposium services. Let's see the other side. And now it's an artifact. So just not enough.
I don't know.
Slave trade, it was the soldiers that slave trade, where they are selling the items. Building to the level, soldiers canteen, colonial period, prison for Ghanaians the entire year. Now this place is an art and craft shop. Soldiers canteen. It's now a craft shop.
Wait.
Because of this light, you can. How do you see? You cover
no,
the-
what's
Yeah, the fort. Yes. Yes.
So that's where they were staying.
That's one of the Fort Williams. Soldiers were there.
Okay.
So that when enemies are coming, they will see them.
Yeah, and
From
I
afar.
mean, I'm going back to the sort
Jab,
of.
yes, that's
And
Jab.
you could just throw baby.
Yes, that's Java. So that was what they did in here, so that they can do this one, see them, and they will get signals and come on board. And they will check the rubber. Court, first court. So Ghana court started from here, established by the king. Here you drafted the bond of 1824. After took it from here to Epalawa. Commander Hill together with 8 fancy chiefs came together to sign that thing with the Ghana School of Value 1213. So we have restored everything. I will try to maintain the design. So there's a first system and then people can